So we have been seeing massive deviations in the crypto markets, guys, which a lot of people have been, selling their altcoins. Altcoins are dumping right now. My portfolio is seeing red, and we have some key news events that have been happening this week, but tomorrow is where everything is really going to be determined how the week is going to be closing, with Jerome Powell giving his speech based off of exactly data that has been coming out, economic standpoints, and multiple other different things, guys. Everyone has been expecting more deviations with Bitcoin as well as overall with Ethereum, which is going to have an effect on altcoins as well, which is right now, if you're investing in crypto, you need to be aware of what is going on. Everyone's wondering, should they be selling their altcoins? Should they be buying more altcoins? Is altcoin season already about to start? These are the questions that people need answers to. And in today's video, guys, I want to walk you through the price action, the news events, and what you need to be aware of if you're invested in crypto. Go check out the rest of my content. I keep you guys updated on the day-to-day basis with the price action, the news events, and overall exactly what's happening with altcoins and how to position yourself. At the beginning of the week, I talked about the key events that were happening, guys. I was aware about the data that was coming out, exactly what was going to be anticipated, but the biggest thing was Jerome Powell, which he's going to be speaking tomorrow, and it's going to be having an effect on the market. By the time you're watching this video, more than likely, Jerome Powell is already about to give his speech. So it is super important to anticipate news events like this and be, aware with time-sensitive information. So with all that being said, let's go and jump straight into the charts, straight into the market and sentiment, and exactly what you should be doing if you have crypto. So like how I said, massive deviations across the market. You can see it whenever we're looking at the overall, prices by market cap. You see a lot of deviations across the market. We're anticipating more deviations, especially with the upward trajectory of what we're seeing in July, and also, multiple different perspectives around crypto analysts and traders that have been here for multiple cycles. You can see altcoins have been taking a hit. Most altcoins have been taking a hit. Others have been seeing a little bit of a recovery, pretty much just kind of maintaining the gains that they've been getting. But right now, guys, everything is seeing red. Bitcoin is currently sitting at around 112,000, which is not looking too hot for us. We can see Ethereum is currently sitting at around 4,200, and the altcoin market, guys, is pretty much just following the deviations that Ethereum is seeing. Until Ethereum can reclaim that 4,800, break its all-time high, altcoins are not going to be in an upward trajectory, and you need to be aware of that. So anyone that is just investing into altcoins blindly right now, get ready for the pain. Now, Bitcoin dominance has been, on a little bit of a recovery, but a lot of people believe that Bitcoin dominance is already going to be crashing down significantly, pretty much starting the altcoin season. But in my opinion, I was anticipating a little bit of a correction moving back into September, and that's what a lot of, analysts and traders have been saying, pretty much just based off of exactly what Ethereum and Bitcoin did in previous cycles and, previous lows that we saw in previous months. But right now, guys, all eyes are on Jerome Powell's speech tomorrow and exactly how it's going to have an effect on the stock market and also in turn the crypto markets as well. Like how I said at the beginning of the week, I let you guys know about the key news events that were happening so that you can be aware of all this information that was taking place. Monday, Trump met with Zelensky, talks about negotiations and deals with Ukraine and all these, deals that were being put into play. And then moving into Wednesday, we had the Fed meeting minutes report, which I talked about in yesterday's video. And then today, guys, we had the S&P manufacturing PMI data, the S&P composite PMI data, and the existing home sales data as well. And that's why all eyes right now are on Jerome Powell and his speech tomorrow based off of exactly the data that is coming out and how he feels he's going to be having an effect, especially with the Fed potentially not cutting rates in September, which is going to be really crazy to see. A lot of people, some people feel bullish about it, some people feel bearish about it. But all you need to know, guys, right now is that there's deals going into play. There's a lot of reportings going in, which are having an effect on specific businesses, specific sectors. And right now, it's not looking too hot for the Fed to cut rates in September. So right now, this is pretty much, coming up as we're seeing this data roll out and also anticipating the speech from Jerome Powell tomorrow. Now, in terms of altcoins, investing into crypto, I have a crypto portfolio just like you guys. What should you be doing? Should you be selling your altcoins? Should you be buying your altcoins? I talked about it, guys, in my previous videos, and there's multiple different traders that are talking about exactly, the specific signs that are being shown for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and more than likely how we could be seeing deviations. Killer XBT is someone that we've been following in the past few days just because I have been seeing everyone's perspectives and I really aligned with what he was discussing in terms of the deviations, and we have just been seeing consistent deviations aligning with a lot of the stuff that he was talking about, CME gaps, pretty much retests, and overall the upward trajectory that we saw and the corrections that need to take place. But this is where everyone's wondering exactly if we're going to be seeing more deviations. Yesterday, we talked about exactly the potential and how USDT dominance is going to have a correlation with exactly what Bitcoin is going to be doing. Specific percentages are going to let us know if we're going to be pumping up or if we're going to be heading down to that 100K retest zone. Go watch yesterday's video, guys. Don't want to walk all the way back through it because it gets really intrinsic in terms of the percentage zones and what could be happening. But this was a great post just talking about exactly we could be pumping if we stay strong, or we could be dumping and correcting if we start to see that Bitcoin USDT dominance start to shoot up. Now, overall, people like Dr. Profit have been not as bullish. They have been talking about, he's been talking about how he's expecting below 100,000 Bitcoin, hitting around that 92,000. He thinks that 93,000 to 90,000 is loading in September. And this is why I try to give you guys the perspective, not only from actual analysts and traders that have been here for multiple cycles, but also traders that have been here for a long time and, you know, are in and out of the market. This should give you an understanding on exactly why people are anticipating more red in the market and why some people aren't allocating to crypto right now or to altcoins. Just pretty much keeping up with the news events, and then from there, slowly dollar cost averaging. Now, Crypto Mission now thinks that, cheeky times ahead, Bitcoin testing the lows, liquidity sweep is probably causing a deep wick that should be bought back quickly. That time for accumulation is now, which is super important. Whenever we see the deviations taking place in the market, that's the time to start accumulating on altcoins. Whenever we see our portfolios looking this red, guys, this is whenever we need to allocate to the markets because we can get in at better prices. Now, more deviations could be taking place, which is why I've been telling everyone for the past few days, do not allocate anything to the market, at least until we close out the week after Jerome Powell's speech. Now, Benjamin Cohen had a great post talking about exactly the price action with Bitcoin, how it correlates with pretty much Bitcoin dominance returning back in September, and how he believes that we're going to be seeing a flip before the huge run. He talked about how Bitcoin will likely go to its bull market support band in September, which is pretty much right above that 100K region. Others believe that we're going to be crashing down much more. But overall, Benjamin Cohen made a Bitcoin dominance video, and he pretty much just said the TLDW of this is he expects Bitcoin dominance to reverse the downtrend by September and start heading back up. And that aligns perfectly with what I was anticipating. I honestly believe that Bitcoin dominance is still going to have one last leg up. And then from that final pump, then altcoins are going to be getting the liquidity that they need. Now, crypto markets are crashing down. You know this, I know this, your grandma knows this, everybody knows this. But the biggest thing is to position yourself correctly. Anticipate more deviations based off of the perspectives, the data that's coming out, Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow, all this information. Right now, my portfolio is looking quite red. A lot of people's portfolios are looking quite red because it's all about investing into the right assets at the right time. But no one ever just invests at the perfect time and then just sells and then that's it. You have to pretty much position yourself before everything starts to run, which is why a lot of people have portfolios right now. But whenever we start to see the red in the market, you shouldn't be worried. You're in an unrealized loss. That's whenever you dollar cost average and wait for liquidity to pour back into your assets. And then once everything starts ripping back up, that's whenever we consider selling. This is why a lot of people have already positioned themselves. They already have crypto portfolios and they're anticipating deviations, but they do not care. Why? Because they do not plan on selling. They're going to keep dollar cost averaging. They're going to wait for liquidity to shift. And the moment all that happens, their portfolios are going to look freaking crazy. So, with all that being said, guys, that is currently what is taking place in the crypto markets. We have some key events that happened this week and a big event that's happening tomorrow with Jerome Powell that's really going to determine how the U.S. markets are going to be closing out. This is going to have an effect on overall the crypto markets as well and buyer sentiment and how everyone is feeling. This could cause a lot of selling in the market. This could cause a lot of buying in the market. So be prepared tomorrow, guys, for volatility, whether it's going to be in the upward momentum or the downward momentum. A lot of people believe that more deviations are at play and that right now is a liquidity grab. A lot of people are pretty much getting back into the markets. People are longing. People really believe that everything is just going to pump up. But I think that is actually the liquidity that's going to fuel the downward momentum. But at the end of the day, guys, this is why I drop day-to-day content to keep you updated on this information. If you're new to the channel, check out the rest of my content. I keep you updated with the news events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, the sentiment from crypto analysts and traders, and how you can position yourself. Right now is really crazy, guys, seeing the deviations, but most of us are, kind of, not even feeling the pain anymore because we've been feeling all this red. We are in unrealized losses right now, but that's why we're dollar cost averaging. My position sizes have been slowly increasing. So the fact that we are going to go back to those previous, ranges that we were at, my portfolio is going to be sitting at a specific range that it wasn't sitting at before. So this is why the patient are going to be rewarded over the impatient, and slowly that liquidity is going to pour into the people that know what they're doing and are actually keeping up with all this information. So I hope you're one of those people. Stay up to date with the content. I drop day-to-day content every single day. It's really hard to get all the views on this channel. I'm trying to monetize this, go full-time into it because I really love it. That's why I shoot day-to-day content. But it's all about, trying to get this information out to the right people. So make sure that you guys are informing other people that want to get into crypto about the right ways to navigate the space. It's a very complicated, area and overall sector and industry. So it's really great to pretty much share the channel, get it in front of more people that want to learn exactly what's going on in crypto, and overall just how to position yourself. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, drop it down below and I'll be sure to get to everything. Peace.